Okay. Well, I'm Liz Wilson with the OLLI program. Welcome to the Fall 23 Art Exhibit and Reception. And I'm introducing Faye, who is our wonderful Arts Committee co-chair.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hey, I'm so glad that you're here. I used to teach high school art in Harper Fields, for those of you who don't know me, for 30 years. And it's exciting to be here and see all of your artwork. It's absolutely beautiful. And it's the first time in years that I couldn't help with the exhibit. So this proves that they don't need me. Did a great job. Okay, so let's start. And
So
we'll introduce each
I'm
other.
gonna share I'm gonna share
Yes.
the Flickr site, which has all of our artwork on
Okay.
it. So give me a second to do that.
So we're in sync.
Yeah. I've lost everybody.
Just tell me when, Liz.
Okay. Okay, can those of you at home see this?
Yes.
Okay. Judith Ann Zanos, the lighthouse, the watercolor. Is Judy here? No.
Is Judy Zano on Zoom? So for those of you at home, when we get to your piece, we'll ask you to comment. So if you're home, unmute yourself when it comes to your name. I don't think she's here.
Okay, so we'll go on to the next one, Annette Napolitano. Is Annette here?
She's just entering.
She's but she's on Zoom.
It's just Annette Napolitano, I know you're just joining. If you want to unmute yourself. We're on your piece. Just joining.
Okay.
Annette? Annette Napolitano, can you unmute yourself because we're at your piece? Okay,
Well,
come back to her. Let's come back to her.
Yes, well, I'll come back to it. When this happens, we'll just skip and come back to it. It will be easier. All right, the truck up there is by Bina. I know Bina's here.
Yeah.
And it's a watercolor. So what inspired you to do this truck?
We were, do you want me to stand up or? Well, we were driving out.
Yes, if you stand up and speak louder, better.
Okay.
Yeah.
My husband and I were driving out east and a lot of places have old vehicles and farm equipment on display. And this antique shop had an old truck. And he took some snapshots of it. And the truck was, basically rust. And so I did a limited palette and I did blue and the other color's called Dragon's Blood and a couple shades of blue. I wanted to keep and a little bit of blacks that I mixed. I wanted to keep it a limited palette. And it's the first time I did something where I mounted it instead of, I didn't map over the edges. I mounted it onto the black.
What makes it work is that you grounded it. You have the black on the ground there. And it has that truck, sitting on, it has the truck grounded and it shows it up more. So you did a nice job. And then the actual painting of it, then with the complementary colors, sort of an orangey type red with blue. Yeah, so it's very nice.
Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you. Okay, and Chris, Annette Napolitano.
Oh, so let's go back
This is,
to her other piece. Annette?
Yeah.
She's
Is that,
She there?
that is a portrait of John Lennon?
That picture on the screen, go over one left.
Hey, we're
right
doing
here.
the first one.
Yeah.
John Lennon.
Oh,
Okay. Go ahead, Annette.
Okay,
the workplace hero. Yeah, you
Yes.
said John Lennon. When I first looked at it, I wasn't quite sure. So it's what I like about this one, Well, first of all, tell me about Annette, well, what inspired you?
John Lennon. Of course, the Beatles are my idols from when I was a little girl. I had been to a workshop with Mary White last year, and it was a workshop on doing portraits, and I bombed out terribly. So I have been trying to work on portraits since that time. Now, did I understand that you didn't recognize it as John? John
In
Lennon?
the beginning, it didn't dawn on me. I was just, the working class hero. I thought it was more general. But then of course, oh yeah, John.
Okay. So,
Okay, well, Annette, what I like about this is the way you use the colors and the purples. Well, not purple, the lavender is such a wonderful shadow color. You know, in with the light fleshy tones, and then the soft grays and browns. And it helps bring out the brownness of his eyes. And you got the glasses pretty good. And of course, to have the background reseated with dark colors.
yeah.
Nice. Okay, let's go on to Chris over here. Annette?
That's my sister-in-law.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Joe's sister. I took a picture of her. We went to a shower, and I just thought it had a lot of good light and dark.
Yes. Okay, so you're into portraiture. It's nice. It's fun. It's fun. Okay, let's go down to Judy Stone. Puddle time. I know that Bob and Judy aren't here.
They're on Zoom.
But they're online.
Yeah.
And hi, Judy.
Hi,
This is so cute. It's probably your grandson in
Yeah.
puddle time.
Puddle Time, yeah. He supplies me with a lot of material. There's nothing like putting a rain slick on a kid and letting them play in water. And I caught this and I painted it twice.
You did a nice job, Judy.
Thank you.
Thank you. I like it better up there on the screen. It shows it up. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
And this is my piece up here, which reminds me of my grandmother. I remember her painting a picture, something like that when I was young. It's an oil painting. But this is my young granddaughter years ago, and my son and daughter, my daughter and son-in-law. He's like a son. And that's just all whimsical from my imagination. Now this is Jolene. Jolene, there you are.
It's a picture of what I felt the immigrants looked at when they first came to New York, looking at the Statue of Liberty. I was inspired after a trip with my children and grandchildren.
Oh, yes. It's almost like seeing it all over again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. And immigrants. Yeah. You have fun doing all the people here?
Okay.
Jolene,
I'm sorry.
do you have fun doing all the people here?
No, it was very challenging.
Not much fun though. Okay, nice.
Thank you.
And this one's Joseph Napolitano. Is Joseph here?
Yeah, it's online.
Is on.
Yes, I am.
Joe?
Hi there. That is a painting. I was watching TV. There was I think it was a PBS program on Iceland or Greenland, one or the other. And they were showing the volcanoes there. And one of the things that struck me was they were talking about how as the ice caps melt, It relieves pressure on the ground, allows a magma to come up, which encourages or allows more volcanoes. So they're trying to figure out what the balance point will be with the ice melting and then the volcanoes receding, which is why I called it seeking equilibrium. And the other thing that struck me is how unworldly the landscape looked. I mean, it's probably just months old. It wasn't there, until the magma overcame it. And, the sheer strength and ferocity of a volcano is just incredibly impressive. I tried to show a shattered sky and the flow of the lava, as literally liquid earth.
Well, Joe, you did a wonderful job. And it's, and the way you described it, you captured that feeling. And one of the ways that you did it, you used the watercolor and it's like wet on wet, right?
Much of it is, yes. And then
Yeah.
some of it I came back after it was dry and took off some of the darker colors to highlight the lights.
Yeah, the highlights, but that's what makes it move. And then of course, you have the subject matter moving. And so it really works. And it's nice. It's nice. And it's a perfect frame for it too.
Oh, thanks. That part's luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, now that one up there. Yeah,
Bonnie Connolly.
that's amazing. That's
Going here.
that's the dye. It's waiting for Godot and oil and dye on paper. Is Bonnie here?
Bonnie, are you on Zoom? I don't think so.
Oh, heck, I was wishing that we could talk a little bit about this. Because it's unusual.
Well, you can talk about it.
Oil and dye on paper. So it's very effective. And she has the form, she has the composition, and then and the medium is different. Oil and dye. So. And then the next one is that cowgirl. And that's put by Jolene.
Yeah.
I love this one.
Yeah, really.
Well done. You want to talk a little bit about what inspired you?
My daughter asked for a painting of a cowgirl,
Oh.
so I did it, and I brought it up to her in college, had it framed, matted for her birthday, and then the next time we went up there, it was under her bed.
No.
How much do you want for it?
Take my daughter with me.
The daughter comes with the picture. She won't sell it.
Okay.
Giving it the lift.
And you have a perfect frame for it.
Yeah.
So that matters.
Yeah.
How you frame a picture.
The other frame too.
Yeah,
Seriously, that
it's
is
a frame within a frame. Yeah.
I love.
Yeah, you have the
fancy
three
colors.
different blues, which is very interesting. And this blue recedes in the background as it should. And it makes this pop out. No, and you have the very soft, like tan with a little bit of orange, which is a complement of blue. It works.
Thank you.
And I like the swing of this. It adds to the harmony of the painting. Can you see it all right? Yeah. And then also the texture. You have texture in here, you have texture in the earrings and texture. That's perfect up there. Very nice.
Thank you.
And this right here.
I've noticed you don't see the eyes, and for some reason that it just draws me to it even more. I don't know
Yeah.
why that
We
is,
will
but
agree.
it's very effective.
It's
Why-
very effective,
Why? Why?
very effective.
Yeah.
You know, Rembrandt, one of his paintings had a shadow with he does portraits, he did everything, but one of his portraits had shadow over his eyes. And it's like his eyes was peering out of the shadows. And I looked at it and I said, how effective is that? So when I went to India and I painted this guy, an Indian guy, that's what I did. I put a shadow across his eye, then have his eyes kind of peek out of the shadow. And what you did, you know, with just like a hint of the eyes, it brings the attention to everything else.
You know, this reminds me of a Yankee pitcher, Andy Pettit. If you ever watched him pitch, his hat, the peak of his hat would hide his eyes just a little bit. He'd hold down, you know, before he was getting the pitch from the catcher.
Yeah.
But he, you know, it would cover his eyes a little, kind of reminded me.
And that's a good trick for him.
Yeah.
Never knew when the pitch was gonna come. This is eye reading. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, where are we here? In awe of beauty, that's Pat's?
Yes.
Yes, yes. Oh, this one, yeah. If you look at it close, I looked at, there you can see them. Look at it closer. Look at the detail, and that's all in watercolor with a small watercolor brush.
That's amazing.
I mean, can you beat that? And look at the composition and the colors. It is beautiful. An awe of beauty. She captured it, didn't she? Very nice job, Pat.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then there is the next one, St. Peter's Basilica. That's this one here. You can see it better up there. Wow, I like this flicker. This is what inspired you.
That's all watercolor.
Okay, and it's again a watercolor, and again all with this. Well, here I am talking so much. Pat, why don't you stand up?
I took a trip to Italy in March of 2022. Just at the end of when the restrictions for COVID, before the end of the restriction for COVID. And I was just in awe of everything that I saw. Beautiful, beautiful things, especially David. I mean, I've never seen anything as gorgeous and as big. He's huge. You'll see this a little person sitting, she's not a little person, she's a regular sized person sitting on a bench, admiring the statue. And yeah, that's how large it is. And it's one piece of marble and it's all white. And the other one is St. Peter's Basilica. And just loved all the gold and the opulence of it.
Did you, the Basilica one, did you use a photograph as a basis?
I always use a photograph, my own photographs that I take.
Your architecture is spot on. I mean, that to me is very difficult to do. And that is very well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, if anything is off, it was any part of the perspective, and that's complicated where you have the circles and the arches. And, you know, if anything is off, it annoys your eye and it's not off.
I spend a lot of time with the drawing. And I try to, and I'll use a ruler and I'll just make sure that I've got things lined up. But yeah,
I really admire your attention to detail, to do all those individual tiles and pictures. It must have taken you hours and hours and hours.
Was it fun?
I was asked that question before, and the people who are in my class will let you know, I go into like a Zen mode. And you don't hear from me. I get up sometimes on a Saturday and I'll see something in something that I'm painting. And I'll want to do what I have in my head. And I'll be in my pajamas and I'll be working away. Next thing I know, it's afternoon. I've spent the whole day and not even known it. So is it fun? I guess that's fun. It's not annoying. And I am very much there. That's a criticism I get a lot, is too much detail, that people like looser kind of thing for watercolor, but that's what I like this one. I'm very tight.
But you're not, as you're doing the detail, you're not thinking of anything else though, right? You're thinking.
Well, I'm thinking of what I'm doing is what
Thinking of
I'm
what you're
thinking of,
doing.
yes, and I don't always use just a small brush, I do use different brushes.
Yeah, because that's like if you use the word zen, like sometimes it's like you're into whatever you're doing and it blocks out everything else because
Right,
then you're
exactly, it
focused.
does.
It's a matter of focus.
It does.
Yeah, and that's what's good, it's good for. It's good for your whole person, especially during COVID. It would be very good, very healing.
Very good. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, oh, this is Dorothy's. So you actually saw them, this painter?
I like to drive along Shore Road in Mount Sinai. There's always a lot of swans, doves, geese, herons. And one day I just saw this man painting on this little canvas. And he looked so peaceful and calm and into his painting, so I just snapped it. And then painted it. I painted it on a watercolor canvas, so I just painted around the edges. So I didn't put a frame on it.
Yes, you painted, I didn't quite hear you, you painted all around, you painted.
Around the edges of the canvas.
Yeah.
So it doesn't need a frame because the.
Oh, I see what you're saying, you mean
Continues.
here, yeah, I got you. Yeah, a lot of artists do
Looks
that.
great.
Well, it works.
There you go.
Okay, and you got a nice, the foreground here, you know, that kind of frames it out too. You know, this, the framing out the center of interest here. And then the relaxing feeling, with the horizontal lines, built right in your composition. Yeah. So makes you feel good to look at it, right? Okay, now up there. Oh, that's. Right there. Cereal and bananas. Is Mike here? No.
Let me see if he's on Zoom.
There?
Mike, are you on Zoom? No, I don't see him.
No. But I remember last semester, he had something like this, so he's into doing still lifes that involve.
He does them in the class and he sets up his own still life
Yeah,
and he does combinations like peanut butter and jelly with
Yeah,
a
I
glass of
remember that.
milk or bananas and cornflakes and
things that go together.
Yeah. Wine and cheese and crackers, yes.
I like that, yeah, the wine and cheese.
Yeah, me too.
He's done that.
Okay. And this is Sandra Jamal. Is she here? No?
Sandra, are you on Zoom? No, I don't see her either.
All right, we'll skip down to Joseph Napolitano. Is Joseph here?
Yeah, he's on.
Yeah, I'm still here. This is a Stony Brook Duck Pond, stands the ducks, they've been under the water. This was also part of a workshop. This was done in plein air. The instructor was Bill Graff. He was emphasizing composition and the use of light and dark. And it was good to have someone looking over my shoulder every now and then, making suggestions about the composition, which really helped. I think that's one of my weakest spots when it comes to painting. And it was educational and a lot of fun to paint. I finished it off in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I didn't hear that.
Show you, you did a nice job, but I liked it, the different shades of the way you use the greens. You know, with the dark in front of the light, and then repeated in the water. And then with the black to bring out the different shades, mainly of green. And of course, the opposite, the complement of green is red, and you have that red roof over there standing out. But it doesn't throw off the balance because you have this long tree over here. But it's very nice, it works. Okay, up there, oh, there's that's the oil and dye again. She's not here, but it's very effective. Very nice, the picture up there. And this one is Sue Harris. Is Sue here?
Sue here? Lacus?
She's young.
That's how we send them.
Sue, are you on Zoom? No.
Okay. And the next one is Judith Ann Zeno. This is I believe it's a watercolor.
It
Yeah,
is.
it looks like a watercolor. It's at the shore. Oh, at the shore. It's not here. Okay, let's go over there. Oh, we can't get it. Mel Lance does absolutely beautiful work. And he has work here. This is the heron up here sculptured. He loves to work with wood. Does such a nice job. And this one over here is the cardinal on driftwood. This one right here.
Wait a minute, okay, you have to be the middle one, you have to go in order. You have to go in order, so if you can do the middle one, Dorothy?
Oh. Okay, Dorothy, oh, well, Dorothy's saying, that's wrong.
I'm here. I made that the fender is part of a broken necklace, and I said, what can I do with it? So I decided to make a flower, but then the stone was still too high. So I made 2 layers of petals, and then it fit right in.
But an amethyst with it?
Yeah.
And if you ever try to do staining, this kind of staining, it's very difficult. It's to cut the glass.
Yeah.
You know, and
That's what you do in stained glass.
I know.
Fingers, you cut.
And when you have a lot of detail like that, to cut each piece, and then you have to solder it. Is that the right word? Yes, they still use that word solder. With the lead, I don't know if they use lead, but whatever. It is, it's very difficult. So, thank you. And the Mel, is this one over here? I guess I should play exactly the way it is here. And this, I just admire his work so much. And the patience that it takes and the grace, the beauty of the driftwood. You can't really see it as well up here if you take a minute later on and just look at all his work up close. I can see the workmanship in it. And then over here is the polar bear and the cub. And that's a wood carving. And he painted that, right? He painted the whole thing after he carved it, right? And then Susan Malacus here.
I don't think she's here. Susan Velakis? I don't think,
That's the seashell.
yeah, that's another piece.
Waterfall. She's not here?
No,
Okay, and then Mel's cherry box over here, imagine making a box like that. It's amazing. And it's a wood carving, of course, and then down here is a flower bowl. And interlocking parts, but this one down here, you can see it up there, of course. And the spoon, the letter opener, and all wood carvings. And then there's the fishnet.
Oh, yeah, you can see it from there. It's like a
Bowl on the carry, that's that one over there. Okay.
Can I mention something about Mel's pieces?
Oh, is Mel there?
No, Mel is just, he was in the hospital. He's just getting out now, so he couldn't be here. But those interlocking hearts that you just showed, yeah, they were carved out of one piece of wood. They weren't put together. They were carved out of one solid piece of wood.
That is something else. Thank you, Bob. Okay, over here in the, Oliver, I know that you're. Where are you? There you are. Okay, Bob, what inspired you to do this, to do the flamenco dancer?
Yeah, what inspired me was to try to get the energy and the motion that you watch when you're seeing it in person. So I was playing around. I took dozens of pictures at different speeds and different apertures to try to see what would ultimately come out. And so in one case, I think I was successful to try to capture that energy in something that's still when you're putting it there on the image.
Yes, and the way that you did it, it's like sort of like years ago, we used to go to stop action. Yeah, so that you would.
Well, it's more than stop action, that's actually, you try to get the blur in the action record. And that's really that's the hard part.
Yeah.
That's
Well, the hard part is to get the blur, but get something in focus and still. So her face had to be relatively stable while her dress was swishing past. And so you wanted to have the blur on the dress, but not so much the blur on her face. But I did get the blur in her hands because they were also moving. So that was another thing in terms of selecting which ones I worked with, was how to handle that, because nothing was really stationary.
No.
I mean, you're taking a picture, but I'm taking a picture with the emphasis on movement through the picture, which is blur.
Okay. And in this picture, and if it was a painting, you would have the rhythm right in the painting with this diagonal line going up and the diagonal line up there going around, and then this flowing, and then with the blurriness. And I've seen artists do that with paintings where it's not only the blurriness here, but you have the background. You have the background picking up the colors of what you're trying to blur out, so it doesn't stand out. It kind of flows in with the background. I've seen that before, and you did that nicely. And then the way you have this static, I think the foot is.
The foot is planted.
The foot is static.
That's the one thing that's really static.
That's static. It has to be.
So everything else
And
will
it
go.
grounds it.
Yes.
And then you have the upper part, the face, in focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's what emphasizes all the other.
Right.
So you have the harmony, and then you have the rhythm, right in the picture, and of course, the composition and all the other things that help make a picture work.
No, thank you.
And sometimes you get away with this white going that way. I guess because of this. Yeah, and then this down here. And then you know what it is? It's those little dots over there too that balance it out. Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, thank you.
That's an unusual picture. You caught the moment. Okay, so we're up there. And that is their perspective. Frank the
Rubies, that's mine.
Oh, yeah, there you are.
Okay, I usually like to photograph in inclement weather, foggy, misty. This is at Bayard cutting Arboretum. And I just like the composition, the simplicity of it, and the barrenness of it, and how it balances itself out. So that's like taking was, they actually removed the trees 2 years later, so the site is no longer like this.
This tree is almost perfect.
Yes, okay.
Oh. Yeah, and it gives you that feeling. That barren feeling, not only in the subject matter, but the sky, and that's water back there, right? Mayor
Well,
Cutting?
yeah, that's the Conecuh River, but it's a heavy mist in the background, so you.
Yeah,
it-
yeah.
The land in the back recedes.
Right, right.
Mhm.
And the foreground, what is that?
That's just grass.
Just grass, but you, what did you color?
No, well, it was a color photograph to begin with, but no, it's basically, that's the shade. It's a very dreary day. It's very flat lighting. So you have very low contrast to the photograph itself, so, you know, the
Yeah.
detail doesn't get picked up.
Yeah, so it's all mutual tones.
Mhm.
Okay. Very nice. And Terry, Jermaine? She's on Zoom.
I'm here. This is one of my babies. I've been raising butterflies for the last 3 years. When COVID started, I started growing milkweed, and I now raise them from eggs that I get off my milkweed. So I'm trying to advocate for people to plant more milkweed so that we can get more monarchs. And the reason I call it male, oh, by the way, this is a digital photo, obviously. You see those 2 spots on the bottom of the lower wings? That's a male monarch.
Holy cow.
If it was a male, it wouldn't have those 2 spots on the lower wings.
Oh.
And it takes about 30 days for the eggs to develop from an egg to a monarch. And 2 years ago, I raised 71 monarchs and released them. So it's kind of like my COVID project.
I'm impressed. And I never knew how you could tell a male from a female. And the way that you did it. The way that you did it, I had to touch it when I first saw it. You know, it's.
Yeah.
Can you explain the process? How did you do this?
Well, this was just an edited digital photo I took with my iPhone. I take a lot of those pictures, but because they're in a net cage, I can get closer to them, which you couldn't do in real life, because in real life they would just fly away. So when they first come out of the chrysalis, that's called eclosing, they are very passive. And that's when I usually take the pictures of them. And this just happened to be a perfect view of one. And once they come out of the chrysalis, it takes a couple of hours for their wings to dry. And then you can release them into the wild, or you can wait if the weather's not as good. I used to just pick off the caterpillars, but now I've taken to pulling the eggs off and raising them from eggs, which, as I said, takes 30 days from egg to release.
Teresa, where do you live?
I live on a night herring in Stony Brook, and when I came out here for COVID, when my sister rescued me from New York City, I started planting in her raised bed milkweed, and then I noticed the caterpillars, and I started by removing the caterpillars and raising them in a net cage. And you need enough milkweed, of course, to feed them, because they get quite voracious as they develop more, as the caterpillar gets bigger. And then if you're fortunate, most of the time they just automatically climb to the top of the cage and go into a chrysalis. And then
from there, it's about 10 or 15 days until they come out and as a butterfly. And then you can release them. And as I said, I've come 2 years ago up to 71. This year I couldn't do as many because I was traveling in the summer. But the year before I did very well. And I'm trying to encourage people to plant more milkweed and also not to use Roundup, please. Well, that is one of the main reasons. Within the last 5 years, 70% of the monarch population has been decimated. Regardless of what you've heard about them coming off the list of endangered species, that's not the case.
Well, as far as the, and that's very interesting, Terry. Thank you.
The canvas.
Thank you so much. As far as the artwork is concerned, you have a perfect balance here with the line going up diagonally. And then you have the lighter part on the upper left, and then the lower value tones on the right. And offset with this line that comes down here with a green up here. So your composition is sort of perfect with a nice job.
Thank you.
Teresa, did you print that on canvas paper?
Yes, a matter of fact, I actually, there's a very inexpensive printing, they print canvases, and I just went online and sent them this picture, and this is what came out. This is commercially produced, this canvas.
Okay. This one up there. Okay, the one on the bottom. This one. Oh, this one down here, Lily. Oh, I don't know if she's here. Oh, in the line center. This is Lily, are you on? Yeah, Lily. Oh, no, she's not there. Well, I'm getting close, and I mean, he's real. This is unreal here.
Yeah. It's on the wall. It's on the wall in the Wang Center.
Yes, but the guy, I mean, there's an empty, isn't there an empty chair there? If I remember right? It's on the wall, but I don't remember his guy. Like that's so realistic sitting there, but maybe her shadow. But she very good. So she could have chatting, they can't. It looks to me like it's juxtaposed, but she did a beautiful job here. This has me wondering when I'm looking at it. If that is a real person, and I know, you know, when you enter into the Wang Center, what that looks like. Anyway, I love Lily's work, it's very creative. Okay, let me see, use that school music and art, and beyond the post, is Irene here? Stern up there?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, hi.
It was just down in Stony Brook at sunset. And those of you who've been down there near the docks and
I'm sorry, Irene, I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
okay, I was just down at Stony Brook and it was a beautiful sunset, pictures enhanced. Okay, but I just like the way it this post divided it. And
oh, that is beautiful. Absolutely, and it's like a cross going the other way.
right, and part of his landscape and then part of
Yeah. Okay. Good job. And did you enhance it at all, or?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. That always amazes me.
The colors are there, I just made more of it.
What you could do in that Photoshop is unreal. Okay, now the second one, Seville Dreams of Doris. Doris here? Doris, where are you?
Yeah,
I wanna stand up.
hi, this is the opposite of minimalistic photography. I took a picture of the building in Seville and I liked it, but I wanted it to look different than the postcards we see. So I embellished it. I put a lot of extra things on it that I thought were pleasing and made a nice design. I got a lot of those embellishments from scrapbook, scrapbook places. There's people that sell embellishments to do digital scrapbooking. And so I got a lot of those little embellishments, and I probably used some brushes in Photoshop to do it too. And I have another one like that, but we'll see that later.
Very interesting, you know, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, how the heck did you get that effect? It's.
Not realistic. Or it's partly realistic.
Yeah, I love the upper right-hand side. Yeah. Very nice. A lot going on there. You know, and trying to look at it closer, why? Could you explain, Doris, is there anything you had in mind, the upper right-hand side? What makes it so dynamic?
I just put things together. I like butterflies, and I thought the green would go with the grass. It's really, I guess, just designed for design's sake.
Yeah, okay. It's a nice,
There's no hidden meaning.
It just.
People
fits in
might
that
find hidden
spot.
meaning.
Okay, very nice. And Linda? Linda,
That's
there you are, sorry. Linda. Oh, this one just blows me away, the orphans.
Yeah.
We did a very nice job. Linda, why don't you talk about it, because it's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. I went to South Africa many years ago, South Africa. And when we went to the Essegeni orphanage, is the name of it. And these children that you see were orphans. And what absolutely blew me away was the joy that you saw from them when they were so happy to shake our hands. We were in a tour, you know, and they were all lined up and they were smiling from ear to ear, and they're gorgeous, the white and the black skin, they're so gorgeous. And they were just happy with every little thing we did for them. I would take a picture and then have the kid come over, you know, and look at the picture while I was holding it. They'd be so excited. Unfortunately, there's a bit of a sad story in that I ended up taking photos of each child individually for their schoolroom. And I sent it in to the place I was supposed to send all of the photos. They were framed. They were, you know, sent to those kids to be permanent. And I don't know what happened to them. They never got them. They did receive them, they didn't. We found out later they sold the rice and barley that we had brought with us to feed the orphans. So I don't know what happened to my photos that I wanted those boys to have. And, you know, that's a sad end to the story. But if you ever have a chance to go to Africa, you will never stop taking pictures. I've been there 5 times and I wish I had enough time to go another 5 or more.
What time of day did you take this? Because the lighting is fantastic.
You know, it's interesting you say that, because when I brought that into Photoshop just a little bit, and I really couldn't do much with it in Photoshop, it was driving me crazy that they had so much sun on this skin. And after a while, I just said, Linda, that's where they were. That's where the sun was coming from. They're always in the sun. Stop trying to fix it. So I did. And even the fact that that child's head is cut off, it's all part of just the way it works out. And I love that I feel like each child has his own something going on. Like I feel like every face has something going on to me. Every face has some kind of message. So yeah, so the lighting was entirely outside. And normally you have a problem with that if you're in the sun, that can be a problem. But
You know what?
Go to Africa, trust me. Wonderful.
You know what the message is to me as an observer looking at it? Affirmation of the human spirit.
Exactly. That's exactly how. you
That's
felt.
exactly what
Exactly.
we're after. And
Exactly.
you know,
And all of my pictures from
You did it.
Africa are like
you
that.
did it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Because
No,
that-
they did it.
Because for me to look at it and feel that, you as an artist communicated that.
Thank you.
Because you had it.
I still do. to
Isn't that
this day.
something?
I still
That's
do.
that. I love art. That's the way it works. It's true.
I love.
Yeah. And that sun right here, that
Yeah,
meant to be that way.
Just meant to be, I know, and that's why I left it alone. So leave it alone.
Okay, let's go to this one up here.
Mike Mayo.
Family wreath, it's a photograph, Mike Malone.
I don't think he's here. Mike Mayo, are you here?
Oh, yeah.
No.
He's not really go down to the next one, billowing
Can you
cloud.
hear at home? Can you guys hear at home?
I don't think. I-
Yes.
Is he there or not? No,
He's not here.
let's go down to the billowing clouds. Frank
DeRubies again, that's me. That's all right. I love taking pictures of clouds. It's very hard to capture, the patterns and the essence. And so what this is basically is a composite of 4 photographs put together. And so that you can actually get a idea of the vista. When you're using a camera, it's, you can capture a little bit of clouds, even when you're using a wide angle. You really can't capture some of the feeling of it. And then you want to balance it off with at least an interesting landscape below it. And this is taken in Burlington, Vermont. That's looking at New York over Lake Champlain that you see there. And, I just thought it was one of my more successful efforts at trying to capture clouds.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
It's
very nice, Frank, and very successful. It's like a panoramic view of what you see there. Yes?
Frank, how long did you have to wait for all the sailboats to be kind of equally?
Really, there was that was serendipity, but I have to have, but there was a boat race that was occurring on the opposite side of the lake at the time, which was originally why I started photographing it. And then I noticed more of the clouds in the vista, and so I backtrack. I have some close-ups of the boats, but it's nowhere near as interesting as the overall photograph is.
Yes, it is interesting. Yeah.
What was that line of, was that rocks or?
That apparently is a breakwater of some sort.
Breakwater.
Oh, that's what it's.
Yeah.
Hard to tell from the distance.
It's I had to look at it close. Yeah, it's a breakwater and there's a bird on it.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. When I first looked at it, I thought maybe it was a boat, just looking at it, racing, and then you see the wake and it. But no, that's it's so interesting. The more you look at it, the more there's a texture here and the texture of the clouds up there and the mountains. And then again, you work with the horizontal lines, but then you have the contrast of the moving cloud. So the composition is really very nice. Then you have the light.
Nature's composition, that's.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Ansel Adams, and his doctrine was, you don't need to embellish what's out there.
Yeah.
It's already out there. You don't have to, if you can capture it. That's really what the essence is.
Yeah, it's out there. You have to wait for the right moment too, right?
Yes.
It's there or it's not there. You did a nice job with that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now this one down here is, let me see, New Hampshire in the fall, it's yellow, right, yellow here?
Yeah, there you are. Yeah, that was taken in New Hampshire. My sister and brother-in-law came to join us and we took them to lunch on a train. And that was from the train. I asked the conductor to stop, but he wouldn't stop. So I had to go with the conductor, he's the boss.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
So that wasn't his colors, but it was just beautiful, even from the train. And I think it was kind of a humidity out there, you know, that you couldn't quite see it straight on, you know, so it had a blurred look, so go with the flow. Color wise, yeah.
Because when we were hanging the art, there was a conflict whether it was watercolor.
I
or
know, they
color.
texted me
Which
or
was- yeah.
sent me an email about it, yeah. But it was a beautiful place, I love New Hampshire.
Was it in the fall?
Oh, yeah, definitely, October, yeah.
So that's the trees and.
Yeah, the leaves, and it's that color.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, New Hampshire in the fall.
Was this a novelty train?
Was it definitely.
Oh, you did a nice job. We had lunch on the train,
So it
yeah.
was like a
Yeah,
thing to do.
there was two flights, you could go upstairs or down, you know, we were on the down level.
Yeah, and you set it off with the frame, you know, the white, like really makes it stand out.
Thank you.
And then repeating the dark here and the dark around here. Nice job.
Beautiful.
Okay, there is,
Irene Stern, is she here?
oh, yeah. That picture is taken down at Robert Moses. Life in a rubber ball? Like a rubber ball. Like a rubber ball. Like a rubber ball. Oh, okay. So it's like, this is down on Robert Moses State Park. We were down there at sunset and you're not supposed to shoot straight at the sun, but I did. And that's what the camera picked up, the basic colors here. I did not enhance it a lot, but I did enhance it a little bit. And cropped it like crazy. And that's what I came up with.
Very nice, and it's well balanced. You know, a little bit off to the right, left, I mean.
Yeah.
And then with the, did you say that's a bridge?
Yes.
there? Yeah, and then swinging up on the right gives it balance. And then the colors in the lower part of the rubber ball. Nice job.
Thank you.
Yeah, it works.
Okay, this is another one that Doris did.
Hey, this is another one of mine, this was taken on the same trip, been run to Spain. And I just added some more stuff to it. I wanted to make two photographs that kind of go together. So they're hanging on a very narrow wall between one bedroom and another bedroom. And it's unusual. I usually don't try to make things that are gonna go together and think about how they look like on the wall, but I did that. And I just have another comment about what Linda said, taking pictures when we go on trips. I bought a Fiji, it's like a Fiji Polaroid camera. And it's like the old Polaroids and they still have them. And I can give pictures to the kids or whoever I'm taking pictures of. I usually bring about 40 not 4 rolls, but it's about 40 pictures. And the kids, the downside is the kids, I take it outside, the kids kind of see it happening and start following me and want that picture taken. But it works very well if I visit someone's home and she has a picture of herself and a granddaughter and a baby, and Because people don't print out their pictures.
No, they don't.
No. So they really love it.
And can I just add something about?
Yeah, sure.
With that? It's, we were working with kids at a park, campground. Oh, Sheila was there also.
Yeah.
And, these are kids who are going to the camp because they have cancer. And this is, you know, the fundraising and all that kind of thing to get them there to have a decent summer. And when Doris came with that Fiji camera, the kids were like, I mean, they were, you know, they just couldn't wait to get their hands on it. And you know, you don't, that's kind of how I felt like when I showed them on the screen of my camera. In Africa, if you have the opportunity to share it immediately, it's just amazing. So I think, you know, that was great that she did that.
Yeah, they must have been delighted.
Yeah, I only bring it for third world countries. I didn't do it in England or other places.
She was our leader. Yeah.
That's some story. And again, with me, back with this one, Doris, it reminds me of a sketch.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, look at that. Look at the work in that. I mean, it just, I can see. Well, with me, I just,
You can see a little bit of the city behind
so
the,
much.
that entrance wall.
Yeah.
The colors here.
Yeah,
The
everybody
colors-
sees
the
something
colors are
different,
better
so I
than
will
the
go on.
Yeah.
What I see, it's beautiful. Now, this one just blows me away. Your work is, she has, well, Linda, I'm going to ask you to talk about it
Oh.
first.
I think the moment I remember the most is that I was in front of him. I was standing back, however far, and he was coming towards me. And I didn't realize that the cows would, you know, they sort of came out of the background, was the way I felt when I looked at it. And it just totally blew me away. And I remember I could picture myself, you know, taking the picture and bending down and taking it, lifting my body up to take it, because I thought it was a moment in time that I was getting a chance to capture with the dust in the back, because it's so dry there and all, you know, and it just happened. And when I got home and saw it, it was more, I appreciated it more than I even realized probably.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I love the
Like I was
picture.
telling Frank,
Thank you.
you catch a moment.
Yeah.
You gotta, and you put it here, and then the dust in the, and back here, I mean, it's perfect. It's like a perfect backdrop. And then these guys emerging from that.
Okay.
Yeah, and especially with the white and the dark, black and white, and it's, and then we repeated the dark over here with a diagonal line. I mean, it's.
And to me also, the idea that this young man.
The what?
Maybe the idea that this young man, maybe a little older than a teenager, is doing this. This is his life.
Yeah.
You know, it just, when you go to some countries, you're just awed by what the kids are expected to do and, you know, what life is like for them. And that's what I like to photograph
Yes,
the most.
and he does it in such a graceful way.
He does exactly.
Look at his stance.
Is that beautiful?
You know, with his legs, one of them.
I couldn't believe it, yeah. It was just great luck.
Very nice. Okay, and up there, let me see, it's,
Sure.
let me see, where are we? It's a long walk. Yeah.
Tilburg?
Yeah.
Tilburg, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's in
Walk.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
And my daughter and her family lived in Hawaii, and we went to visit them, and that's my grandson. And he was, this is a state park, and he would wander around, pick up a weed, and he didn't know the difference between a flower and a weed, and he jammed them into his hat. So he had all these things, just exuberant and just running around and just full of life. So actually,
thought about it later, and it should be, the photo should be through the window. Because I put him in the window after his composite, as if we were looking at him.
I
through the
didn't
window.
hear the last part, what you said. You did what?
I put, see the window, the sides are window. It's a window on the side
On the side, oh, is
of the picture. I put
Yeah.
him into the window.
Yeah.
So after the fact, I thought about it, should be through the window. I got you. But anyway,
You're framing it out.
yeah, it just represented his curiosity and fun and, which we all should have. That's Kieran. He's now he's just turned 14.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Sheila. Okay.
This is sunset.
Is Carol Goldstein here?
Yeah.
Oh,
There you are, Carol.
This was taken in Lexington, Kentucky, and if you've ever been there and you go look at the horse farms, the significance is the white fences that are all around Gord. They're beautiful. And so this was taken. I wanted to show the white fence and the horses and the barn, which was also lovely. And it's just, beautiful.
Lovely. Yeah, and you got that S shape there, the S composition, where that fence.
As we say, leading line.
It's easy to say that.
Leading lines in photography, right?
Do you work on the colors?
Very little. If you look there, it's not somewhat, but it's not as harsh, they're not as garish as they are up there.
Yeah.
It is. And on my screen at home, it isn't as garish, maybe because it's just different.
Trees. And if I could just tell you, this is the other reason that I decided to become a photographer. Carol Goldstein, Sylvia Kirk, a number of people who taught me everything. I knew nothing. I knew nothing. And I became a photographer. Thank you very much, OLLI and whatever, seriously.
And Carol, somehow you've got it balanced, sort of reminds me of Andy Wyatt with his empty field over here, but you have that lone animal up there. And that helps in the shadow of it, that helps balance it out. Even though most of the weight's on the left-hand side there. Huh.
Right.
Well,
Christine is.
the clouds also have the weight on the left. So isn't that something that the expanse of all that green somehow does balance it out.
Maybe the texture.
The animals there.
The texture helps.
Yeah, and the texture, yes, yes, that's a good point. It's also the texture in the green. Okay, interesting. Thank you, Carol. And Lily isn't here, but this is so cute. A picture. Oh. Angelica and the water lilies.
Taken in Austria.
In
It
Austria?
says it's taken in Fisherman, Austria.
Wow.
Yeah, Lily is a traveler.
Yes.
Okay, now Bob Stone,
Yeah.
he has an acrylic, digital only, right there. Oh, okay, that's
Well,
balls.
I have to apologize. This is a lesson to all of us. I was late with this and I thought I'd have plenty of time to bring this in and hang it when we did the hanging last Monday. But I turned up, we ended up with COVID. So it turns out I didn't have as much time as I thought I had. So that's a lesson to us all. You don't always have as much time as you think you had.
Good
So
point.
That's all I have to say.
What was the name? There's the name.
Okay, Bob, that's a good picture of chaos. And I know you enjoy working with acrylics and thank you, Bob. And I wish you and Judy well.
Thank
Take care. And thank you so much.